We are going to be going through the Logic Pro X Basics for beginners. So when you open it, it will show here new project, and it will have the options of empty project or live loops. We can go into recent projects, project templates. If you open it up, what it will do is it will have all the presets for each instrument under each genre. So it's got hip hop, we've got electronic, songwriter, orchestral, multi-track, music for picture. What we're going to do is open up a new project, and then it will have 4 options for us. MIDI. This is if we want to use a software instrument like a MIDI keyboard. And when you actually press the key, what happens is it triggers a digital sound. MIDI keyboards or software instruments plug directly into your computer. Pattern is for drum machines. Session player, this is for plugging in a real instrument like a guitar. You might plug it in with a direct cable into your audio interface, and then you would be able to strum your guitar and send the signals of the sound to your computer so that you can record it like that. Audio is when you use a mic or line in. You might record something with your microphone. So if we come down here, we've got input. I haven't actually got any audio interface plugged in right now. I only have one input. There's one input to record on a MacBook. If we had an audio interface plugged in, then it would be input 1 on here, and it would also be input 1 on the computer. Depending on which one your cable is plugged into, that will determine which input you select. So we're just going to stick with input 1 for now. Audio output. So input is sound in, output is sound out. On my MacBook right now, we've got output 1 and 2. So that's the left speaker, output 1, right speaker, output 2. We can change it to mono, and what that will do is whatever is on the left, it will automatically copy for the right, and instead of sound being left and right, it will come through the middle, through one place. Bus is if we want to send the finished signal of the sound to a bus to affect it. So it says here device, MacBook Pro microphone for the input, and MacBook Pro speakers for the output. If we have an audio interface plugged in or a microphone plugged in, then we would want to change the device. So we just click on it, and then we would click on input device, change it to the one we want, and same for the output. So next is the number of tracks that we want to create. Tracks have so many different names. They're also known as layers, stems. A bass drum, you might have that on one track. You might have a hi-hat on another track. If you know what you want to produce, then you might go, I know that for this song I'm going to need 5 tracks, so we can select 5. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with 1, keep it simple, and we're going to click create. This one here, if we press this button, this opens up the preset library. So let's say we have a guitar. We would click on acoustic guitar, and then we can choose what type of guitar sound we want to achieve. So we've got sharp strum, natural strums. If we actually click on that, it will actually change all of our settings. So we've seen the channel EQs popped up, the compressor, channel EQ again with a pedal board, and then 2 buses are instantly set up. The presets are good for the beginning. As you get better at music production, you want to use the presets less, because you want to actually listen to the sound and put an effect on based on what you think your song needs. So I'm just going to press Command Z to undo that. The next one, this is the inspector. It's also known as a plugin channel or a plugin strip, so that will mute the sound. We can click solo if we want to just listen to that channel. We can click record. That's so that we're ready to record. We've got input. That's if we want to listen to ourselves whilst we're recording, listen to our guitar playing whilst we're recording it. Then this next one is actually just volume. And then next we have panning. Like right now it's on 0 and it's set to the middle. That means that sound is going to come at us from the middle, and it's going to be in balance. If we position that to the left, what will happen is it will come through more on the left ear, and then all the way, if we go far left, it will just come out of the left ear. So it's good to keep that on 0 for now. Here we have settings. This is if you want to copy a channel strip from one to the other. So you might like how a specific bass drum sounds, but then you might add another bass drum channel and you want to copy over the settings from that bass drum onto the other bass drum. Bypass all effect plugins, so that will actually just turn them off. Reset channel strip, if you want to reset it back to default. Remove all sends, that's if you want to turn off all the buses. Save channel strip settings as, so that's so you can save it onto your computer. Here we have EQ, so just the basics of EQ. Down here we have 20 Hertz, and then we go to 30 Hertz, 40 Hertz, all the way up to 20 kHz, which is 20,000 Hertz. And then what we can do is we can create a shelf. So if we bring that along to say here, now we only have the high end of the sound. The bottom and middle shelf has been cut off. We can do the opposite of that. So we can start with the high shelf and we can bring that all the way, and we can just keep all the frequency sounds below 200. That's if we want to just hear the bassy tones of a certain sound. This one's quite useful if we want to create a slope for the high end. We want to increase the volume for the high end, or if we want to reduce the high end like that. And you've got the same setting in reverse if you want to reduce the bass, or if you want to increase the bass. And then these ones, the middle filters, are quite quite useful, because what you can do is you can listen to your sound and you can actually move it along the frequency spectrum to isolate a sound and find something that you like so that you can increase it slightly, or find something that you don't like. And then what you can do is you can create like a thin needle type dial so that you can really fine tune where that sound is that you don't like, and then you can go through it, and then when you find it and you go, now I found it, don't like that sound, now you can actually reduce the volume of that sound. Aside from EQ, if we actually just get rid of that now, we click no plugin, we can click here. So this is audio effects. Here we can see our most recently used plugins. We've got amps and pedals, delay, distortion, dynamics, EQ, imaging, metering, modulation, multi-effects, pitch, reverb, specialized utility, and audio units. Audio units are typically the ones that you download like through a third party. Underneath here we have sends, so we can select the no send option, or we can send our sound channel strip to a bus, and then we can adjust how much dB we want to send to the bus. We don't have to send the whole thing, we can send some of it. And this is quite good if we want to use an effect on the bus, but then adjust how much of that effect we use. If we bring our attention over to this side now, what we'll see is we've got the plus icon. This is if we want to add another channel. This one is duplicate track. So if we've got a track that we like, you see we've already got bus 1 and that sort of stuff on it, and we've got a specific volume, we can just click duplicate. This one allows you to make adjustments to the arrangement, so you can select intro. You can put markers for the same purpose. The thing that I like about markers is that you can like write intro, for example, and when you click here, it will actually show you up here that this is your intro, and then you can create an additional marker after this point here, and then you can label this one chorus. You've got tempo if you want to do a tempo change, wouldn't recommend that for beginners. Time signature change, wouldn't do that. So I'm just going to quickly drag and drop a piece of music in here now. We'll delete this original channel, and here, you know, you've got these numbers, and what these numbers mean, so this is 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars. This is how we measure how long things are. And then this is 4/4 time signature. What that means is there's 4 beats to a bar. So we've got 1 beat, 2 beat, 3 beat, 4 beat, and that's in a bar. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. If we click here, this section goes yellow, and what that means is we're using a loop. So it will actually get to the end and repeat. What I'm going to do quickly is just show you these tools, because these tools are quite important. The pointer tool means that you can put your mouse over the audio and you can just move it to where you want it. The pencil tool is for MIDI when you want to write in notes. So if we do that now, I'll show you. We can go to plus and we can go to MIDI and click create. We'll choose an instrument on the left side. We can click on the pencil and we've just created a block. And then with that same pencil tool, we can drag this up here and we can play the piano on the left side, or we can use a pencil to draw the notes in. Another tool we can use is the eraser tool. It does the exact same thing, it just erases things. Text tool, if you want to write text. Scissors tool, that's if you want to cut up your audio. Join tool, that's if you want to sort of glue them back together. Solo tool, that's if we want to solo it. Mute tool would mute it. Zoom tool is if we want to get closer. Fade tool, we can create a fade at the beginning of the transient, fade in, or we can fade out at the end. And we can create a secondary tool. We might have the pointer as the main tool, so we can move things around. And then we might have the scissors as the secondary tool. And what that means is when we press command on the keyboard, it will switch our tool to scissors. So we can move it and then we can cut it. This one here is if we want to rewind. This one's if we want to fast forward. This is if we want to go back to the beginning. And this one's if we want to play. This is if we want to record. This is if we want to loop. We can turn the metronome on by going to this one here. Then we have a metronome. We can skip to a specific bar in our song by either double clicking and writing in what bar we want to go to, or we can click it and drag up and it will take us there. We can change the beats per minute or the tempo by clicking on this part here. We can change the time signature of our song by going to this part. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The next thing I'm going to show you is the notes section. So this is quite useful if you are working on a big project, you know, your song's really long and you want to write some notes of what things you need to do to the project to make it complete, you know, or what things you want to work on, what things you want to try experimenting. And then what you can do is you can click here and you can just start writing notes. So verse section needs extending. The next thing we're going to be looking at is loops. Loops is very useful if you don't have any material that you can use. You don't want to record anything, you want to use something that's already made. Apple have lots and lots of loops that you can use. So what you do is you click on the loop browser, which shows you here. You can search by instrument, piano, and you can just click on them to listen to them. When you find one you like, you can just drag that in. We can actually make a whole song using just loops. I'll give you a rough example quickly. There you go. If we drag the sound and we hold Alt option and drop it somewhere, what it will do is it will actually duplicate it, and then we can move the drums to the 5th bar, and what that will do is it will create an intro section, and then the drums will come in after 5 bars. Anyway, we've covered quite a lot about Logic in this tutorial, and I hope that you have a basic understanding of the software now. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.